Hey, my name is Matt Stohrer and I repair saxophones for a living. And today I am out in my garage, which, having moved from New York City, I just cannot get enough of having. And this is where I do a lot of my kind of uncivilized saxophone work. I've got my vise set up, my lathe, so I do all my dent work here, and a lot of my soldering and brazing and stuff that's just generally dirty. And my main shop is inside, which is where you see most of my videos come from. Today I am going to show you how to straighten a saxophone rod. This is actually a topic that was requested by one of my viewers, and it's a fairly easy thing to do providing you have the right tools. I normally do it on a micro-lathe, so a little tiny version of this guy, but that is massive, massive overkill for a job like this, and most people are not going to have a spare micro-lathe. But you may have a bench motor, which is basically an electrical motor hooked up to a Jacobs chuck with a nice true spindle, or you may have a drill press, which you could probably use for the same purpose. I wouldn't recommend using a regular electric drill. You're just not going to be able to hold it steady enough. You need something that's mounted super securely because you're going to be applying a lot of sideways torque, and you need something with a nice straight spindle. So the way we straighten a rod. So we've got a rod mounted in the bench motor here, and you can see, if I can get it to focus, that the rod is pretty severely bent. Now, things to watch out for when you mount it into the chuck, make sure that you're giving it enough room inside the chuck that you're not gripping on either the threads or the slotted end, because that might cause the chuck to kind of hold it off center, and then you're not going to be fixing anything. And you may also, although I doubt we're going to need to do it for this job, you may also need to do it twice, holding the rod once from each end to get things truly straight, particularly if you've got several bends or a very long banana bend throughout the whole rod. But this bend is going to be fairly straightforward, or at least it should be. It's a pretty severe bend in the middle of this rod that goes to a Yamaha saxophone. This was caused by some damage and a post that moved. And the tool we need is a piece of wood with a hole drilled in it. This is my rawhide mallet, one of them anyways. And you can see I've got two holes here that I've already worn out through this operation. Got a fairly new one drilled here. And what we're going to be doing is sliding that hole over the rod, and we're going to be applying torque to it. So I'm going to kind of twist it like this and move it up and down the rod as it spins in the bench motor. So I've got the bench motor hooked up to a foot pedal, and it's very important that you put the piece of wood over the rod before you turn it on. If you don't and you've got a bend in the rod, especially if it's severe like this one, it'll get worse and whap, 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 basically bend at a right angle here, ruin your rod, and probably bust your knuckles pretty good too. So slide this over the end, turn it on. And apply some pretty good pressure and move it up and down the rod, and you can usually feel where the bend is, and as you apply pressure and work the shaft, you can feel it kind of smooth out and go away. And once you think things are getting pretty good, move it out towards the end. And let's see if we've gotten this straight. We're pretty close, but I think it's still got a little bit of a bend in it. So let's do it again. There we go. And then you have a straight rod. Now the next step that you want to do after this is take a scratch brush wheel or something like it, mount it on your bench motor, and scratch brush the rod, because you've probably put some marks in it, at least from the jaws of your chuck, and possibly there might be some scratches and dings in it from whatever caused the bend to happen in the first place. So you want a nice straight rod that you then clean. And that is how you straighten a saxophone rod. Hope this was helpful, useful, informative. Again, my name is Matt Stohrer. I repair saxophones for a living. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, anything you'd like to see on my YouTube channel here, leave a comment, send me an email, give me a phone call, and let me know. Thanks.